Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be on this big, beautiful blue globe we have. I want to say many blessings to everybody. I am Eric Raz, and I'm coming to you with Can We Talk? And this is where I talk about issues, and I invite you to engage with me to see what's really going on and how you feel about certain things in the world. Today, I want to touch base on what's going on in America and what has gone on. Slavery. So, we are taught in America in 1492, Christopher Columbus discovered America. However, I'm going to take you a little farther back. Y'all know me. So, let's start off with Mohammed bin Mohammed al Adrisi, circa 320, circa 3,524 years ago. Yes, that long ago. He came and he mapped out the Americas, North and South America. In the 1500s and 1600s, slavery began in America. However, it wasn't the African slave. It was the European slave, the Polish slave that were shipped to the Americas. But if you look at your history books, they are deemed indentured servants. And then we have in 1619, African Americans were brought to America to join the Blackfoot Indians, the Cherokee Indians, the Sequoia Indians, which were all descendants from the Muslims that had come to America prior to. And that's a pretty long time ago. That's a lot of years before Christopher Columbus. And that's why when he saw the shores and he saw the inhabitants and he said, they are not friendly, they are savages. And the reason why he deemed them savages was so they can be conquered and the land can be taken. And then we have 619 is when the ships started coming from Africa. And they brought 12.5 million, or there were 12.5 million slaves. At that time, the largest navy, which was the British Navy, only had 1,200 ships. It took 5 to 6 months to go one way from Africa to North America. So round trip, that was a year. So you do the math. Is it possible to bring 12.5 million slaves in 400 years to America? No, not really even close. But at the boom of slavery, it was in the early 1700s. So that number is not even attainable. So then we have in 1865, a president by the name of Abraham Lincoln, the Emancipation Proclamation, which freed the slaves, or at least at that time gave the illusion of freedom and emancipation. However, you go forward 130 years, and now we're in the 1990s. There's crack epidemic. There's all types of violence, and the gangs are running rampant in America. So America, having the ingenuity that it does, how can we start this slave machine again? So the fastest growing industry in America was the penal system. The penal system, which pays out 30 cents to $1.80 an hour, depending on where you're housed. And that's what you get paid an hour. But the penal system industry makes $74 billion a year. But that's what it pays its inmates to do the work that they get farmed out from these corporations in America, which are now having slave labor produce their products, which they make hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars. So now I said all of that to talk about the temperament of the youth of today. Their diet consists of, which is in the ghetto or the barrio, is hot Cheetos, soda, Red Bull, very poor hot dogs, Hot Pockets, Doritos, all these things that have this highly processed food in it, which makes their diet toxic. And then you have, and this is in America only, we know those blue skies are only blue for a couple of hours in the morning, and then we see these lines go across the sky, and then all of a sudden it's cloudy. Theoretically, some people say these chemtrails cause this, I guess, malfunction of the human species. But anyway, where I'm going with this is our youth, they can't pay attention in school. They lash out to their parents. They lash out to their teachers. These teachers are, it's a noble, profession. They have classroom sizes of 40, 50 kids that can't behave. Some parents are single parent homes. They don't have the time to take care of their own child, money to afford a babysitter, so they rely on the schools to babysit their children. But if the children have a poor diet, a poor structure morally, and of sound values in life, and now they go to an institution which the teachers can't control them. They took out, I guess at that time, corporal punishment for schools, which was paddling, which existed when I was in school. They took that out. So there's no discipline for the kids. The kids get home, there's nobody home. There's nobody to discipline the kids. The parents now can't control their kids. The kids get of a certain age, 12, 13, they're grown. They want to run the streets. And what do they run the streets to? The gangs. Now, what do the gangs have for them? They give them that imitation, that surreal structure of family where they belong, where, yeah, I got you, my end, we homies, right, SA? They give you that, and that's good that they have people that care, but these people really don't care about them. It's all about coming up. It's all about, the next sack, the next money stack, how many chicks you can run up in. And then it's the crime, how many houses you can run up in. If you're really crazy, how many banks you can run up in. But one way or the other, that is not how society should run. You can't get too much growth and improvement from children if they don't have this structure. And there are straight A students, and the straight A students, they're bullied because they're squares. But guess what? When you get locked up, it's going to be those squares that when you come home, oh, I remember you, I got you. They're going to be the ones that try to get you on the good foot, keep you on the straight and narrow. But to get back what I was talking about, so we have these kids that don't behave, but they have this industry that they don't care if you behave, as long as we get you in this industry, as long as we can pay you 30 cents on the dollar to do a job that if you were out free, you could make $20 making. We're going to make billions off of your ignorance. So you may not be picking cotton in the fields, or you may not be picking cabbage, strawberries in the fields, but we got you. You are our slave. We are making maximum profit off of you because of your ignorance, where you wanted to live life in the fast lane, grow up so fast, but what were you growing up to? You were running from something, but you weren't running to something. And so now you're incarcerated. Why are you incarcerated? Because when the cop pulled you over for a speeding ticket, a lights out ticket, you wanted to go off on the cop. When the cop asked you to get out of the police car, oh, you can't tell me nothing. This is my car. I'm not getting out. When the way law works, the more you resist, the more counts you get. And so, see, it's a game where good cops, they want to, treat you for the issue at hand and not go fishing to see how deep of waters they can trick you into going. Now, remember, it's a trick because they'll ask probing questions. Where are you coming from? You don't have to tell them that. If you're stopping me for a red light, ticket, write me for the red light. And if you don't like my attitude's not against the law. If you want me to step out, I'll step out. Search the car. There's nothing in my car. But at the same time, you're respecting the officer for his job. And his job is to not really find out how much you're doing wrong, but to see if you're doing something wrong. And if you give him a reason to step closer, and you step closer to him, he's going to win. He's got the badge and the gun. So don't be stupid, youngsters. That's my whole purpose of this video. We've come a long way. This North American continent was black and brown completely before the Walk of Tears, before the South fought the North, which was it was black Muslims fighting black Muslims, which were the South was infiltrated by the Christians, and then the Europeans found it advantageous for them to get in this war and then make it a civil war blown out. But it really initially didn't involve them, but that's going another direction. But what I want to do is tell my young brothers and sisters, black and brown, respect the law. Don't give them a reason to keep pushing your buttons. If they're pushing your buttons, you don't have to react. You can just say, yes, sir, no, sir. Respect the badge. You used to pick cotton, but when you act out, you are the cotton today. You were being picked, and you were being picked out of living free to living in incarceration. And they don't care how long you live in incarceration, because there's not a shortage of youngsters that become incarcerated. And I say this to you out of love. I've had friends that have got locked up and they've come home. And they were a little different. But I have to try to understand that being incarcerated away from your family, your loved ones, it's survival on a whole different level. And when I was told by Jamel and Tookie, to stay in school, somebody's got to make it out, I didn't understand that then. I wanted to be, one of the cool people, which I thought was cool people, and I look back, a lot of my friends that I knew in that era in 1975, I have no idea where they are today, if they're still living or not. But I know I've gone around the world. I know I graduated college. I know I worked for the Department of Defense. And I made it out to tell the story. Youngsters, please get your act together. Black people, brown people, Asian people, white people. We all want to live. We all want our relatives to be safe, our children to be safe, and that's it. The politicians, don't let them run the game on us. We the people, we control this country as long as we take the reins. They can't run it. They are not capable of running it today except in the ground. So don't be the cotton. Don't get picked just to be planted in a penitentiary field. You know, I love you, bless you, and man, you know, just smile, learn, encourage, uplift each other, and stop this ICE thing. This ICE thing is ridiculous. It's straight ridiculous. I actually think that those guys are the Proud Boys. But that may be another video. Bless you, and this is Razak Can We Talk. You can reach me at erasbury@yahoo.com, and